Shabbat Shalom, Brachim Habayim. We welcome you as you join with us in worship and celebration this Shabbat. We begin our Shabbat on page 55 with Psalm 150, and Chris is going to teach us a bit of a new tune for Psalm 150. Please join with.
It starts off with 6 hallelujahs that sound like this. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Then you end with Yah. Give it a shot. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. One more time now. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. It's the last 4 lines on page 55. On page 55. You have Hallelujah, betzilzele shama. Hallelujah, betzilzele tzruah. Let's try that together. Hallelujah, betzilzele shama. Hallelujah, betzilzele shama. Hallelujah, betzilzele tzruah. Kol anshama, tehallel, hallelujah, hallelujah. Let's try those last 2 lines. Kol anshama, tehallel, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. And again we sing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Last 4 lines. Kol anshama, hallelujah, betzilzele shama, hallelujah, betzilzele tzruah. Kol anshama, tehallel, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. One last time now. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
In addition to celebrating the joy of Shabbat, we celebrate this evening the joy of a simcha in the life of our temple family, this Shabbat being the Shabbat of the Bar Mitzvah of Ryan Bedell. And tomorrow Ryan will lead us in worship, will read for us from Torah, and will share with us lessons he has culled from his Torah portion, as well as his years of Jewish learning and Jewish living. And there seems to be a bit of a family trait here, because his sister couldn't stop smiling the entire time she was on the bima, and Ryan seems to be going the same direction, which is a good thing. Really enjoying being up here. We had a good time during our rehearsal, and I think we're going to have a really joyous time tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And as always, everyone is invited to join us in worship and in celebration. And to begin the Shabbat of their son's Bar Mitzvah, it is my pleasure to invite Jennifer and Stephen Bedell for the candle blessing and the reading before the candle blessing. The reading before the candle blessing can be found on page 121. The candle blessing itself on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Page 126. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world that God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and of joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. Our worship continues with Lecha Dodi on page 138.
Yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 lekat kala, yalla la la b'nei Shabbat nekabel, la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 lekat kala, yalla la 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 1. Shamo vezacho b'libo echad hishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad v'shemo tiferet ve'etzilat
We rise and face the entrance.
For verse 9. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha, uv'zola, toch emuneh, am segula.
Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without your presence. Hatzi Kaddish, page 144.
Yitkada v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah V'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayetecho Beit Yisrael Bagala uv'zman kariv Hineru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach Le'olam lo me'omaya Yitparach Yitparach v'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei d'Kedusha b'richu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran b'yama v'meru Amen. Yalla la la la, 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 yalla la la la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach
We continue together on page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, behochma poteach she'arim, uvitfuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai tzivaot shemo, El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
מצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu,
Please be seated as we continue on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך עליהם על לבבך, ושינתם לבבך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושרתך ובמקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עמך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והן קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
We continue on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, this we still believe, what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot together, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And we rise for the tefillah, beginning on page 164.
חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע מוריד אתה מחכה חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מחמוך בר גבורות ומדומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה למענת החיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יחלוך הסלע ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated as we continue together on page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and to do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage and insight and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadacha bira'ah na'avod. Together, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all of these and more we offer our thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Create a pure heart within me. Let my soul wake up in your light. Open me to your presence. Flood me with your Holy Spirit. Then I will stand and sing out the power of your forgiveness. I will teach your love to the lonely. The lost will find their way home. Adonai, open up my lips, and my mouth will declare your praise. We pause for a moment of personal meditation as we pray silently.
If you'd like to follow along the words, they're the bottom of 180, but it's entirely repeat after me. Oseh shalom, oseh
Shalom.
b'imromav,
B'imromav.
hu ya'aseh shalom,
Hu ya'aseh Aseh Shalom.
Aleinu,
Aleinu.
ve'al kol Yisrael,
Ve'al kol Yisrael.
ve'imeu, ve'imeu, ve'imeu,
Ve'imeru.
Amen. Oseh shalom,
Shalom.
b'imromav,
Imroma.
u'ya'aseh shalom,
Ya'aseh Shalom.
aleinu,
Aleinu.
ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al
Kol Yisrael.
ve'imeu,
Ve'imeru. We continue with our Mishaberach, our prayer for healing, on page 371. Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech et HaCholim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yamalei Rachamim Aleichem Lahachlimam Refotam Lahachzikam Vayishlach Lahem Mihera Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh u'Refuat HaGuf Hashta B'Yagalah V'Zman Kariv v'Nomar Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill, as on this Shabbat we send our prayers to Meir Eliyahu ben Mordechai Velka, Surah HaShabbat Avraham Ufego Rochel, Barry Schreiber, Rachel Bat Chaim Vachana, Roger White, Lila Porras, Deborah Satula, Susan Dolan, Eden Yarden, Ben Akiva Vaster, Bela Golda Bat Henya, Pamela Charles, Jerry Newman, Sora Pesha Bat Zelig, Wolf Amira, Yitzchak Ben Malka Rochel, Lori Seelig, Jonathan Schatzkammer, Andrew Levy, Miriam Bat Usher Zelig Vituba, Stanley Weinblatt, Moshe Ben Gershom Varachel, Yehoshua Ben David V'Yocheved, Leah Bat Avraham V'Chaya, Yitzchak Tzvi Ben Yisrael Chaim V'Chavaliva, Shoshana Bat Ephraim V'Tzipora, Athena Pratori, Dina Kayla Bat Brindle, Rona Weber, Jennifer Baldacchino, Tim Santos, Mia Salazar, Morris Golden, Marcia Tremaine, Alan Tremaine, Gloria Kelchner, Shmuel Hersh Ben Root, Chava Brindle Bat Reisel, Moshe Shalom Ben Yaakov Reisel, Victoria Saul, Miriam Bat Asher Zelig Vituba, Yehuda Ben Avraham, Noach Ben Avraham Vasara, Chaya Bat Sipora, Karen Porras, Diane Jacobs, Shimon Avigdor Ben Zalman Vasara, as well as these from our community. Along with all the ill among us, may the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May those who suffer from addiction find courage, and may those in recovery find strength. And may God send to all of them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen, as we join in singing.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
So there was a bit of a discussion going on in the office this morning. I happened to, in passing, say, you know, it feels like the holy days have been very slow in coming this year. To which our administrator said, yes, thank God. And my secretary said, oh, I know. But I'm glad to tell you the holy days are almost upon us. And it does feel this year like we waited for it, that we waited quite a bit. And yet, did we prepare ourselves enough for it? Our tradition teaches us to use the month before the holy days as a time of preparation. But we often get so caught up in things like the beginning of school and the end of summer and all the things that happened at the beginning of September, that when the holy days are in October, we don't always use that month ahead to prepare. We're using that month to deal with the start of a new secular programmatic year. And our eyes aren't always on the ball about a Jewish New Year. But tomorrow night, we will engage in our tradition of Slichot, our service of Slichot. Slichot, the name of the day, coming from the Hebrew word slicha, meaning to ask forgiveness. And so tomorrow we'll gather together in worship, in study, because it's traditional to study at that time, and in inclining our hearts towards both seeking and offering forgiveness, which is really at the core of what the days of autumn are all about. So I thought what I'd do this evening to help us prepare for Slichot, which will help us prepare for the holy days, is share with you a story that was constructed, if you will, by Elie Wiesel of blessed memory. And Dr. Wiesel wrote a book that contained tales of the sages, and if you read through it, you would kind of think that these tales were all whole tales in and of themselves. But in fact, they aren't. What he did was he went back to the Talmud and the Mishnah and the Midrash, and he found different pieces, and he put them together to give us a fuller picture of some of our great sages. And he told one story about Rachel and Akiva, about Rabbi Akiva and his wife Rachel, that I thought was particularly appropriate for this Shabbat before Slichot, a story that is constructed from pieces of 3 Talmudic portions from Ketubot, Nidarim, and Pesachim. And I'll share it with you now, and then maybe we can reflect on really the meaning of this story as we enter into the holy days. Rachel, was the daughter of a wealthy landlord who we read about all throughout the Talmud, Kalba Savua. And though he planned a match for her with a very well-to-do young scholar, Rachel fell in love with her father's shepherd, the poor Akiva. Before she would marry him, however, she told him how important it was for her that he become a scholar, that he study Torah. Wealth, she said, is not as important to me as learning. And because of his deep love for Rachel, Akiva promised that he would do as she asked, that he would become a scholar. And though they kept their engagement a secret, her father, Kalba Savua, he learned of it, and he called his daughter into him, and he was so angry with her that he shouted, "How could you do this? You promised yourself to a poor shepherd without my permission? If you marry Akiva, you must leave my house and never come back." And Rachel cried as she left her father's house because she loved her father and she knew she wouldn't see him again, but nevertheless, she left her riches behind to marry Akiva and went to live with him in a small hut. And instead of fine furniture and fancy food, they slept on straw and they ate bread. They were poor and they worked hard, and Akiva chopped wood and gathered hay. Rachel cared for the family. She cooked and she cleaned and she sewed for others. And despite their poverty, she encouraged Akiva to begin his studies, reminding him that he had promised her that he'd be a scholar. "You have a good mind, Akiva. You will do well as a scholar," she told him. But Akiva felt ashamed. You see, he was a grown man, but he could not even read the Aleph Bet. He would never, ever be able to do what Rachel wished, he thought to himself. How could he ever do this? But then he remembered his promise. But every time he remembered his promise, he got maybe a little more discouraged. And one day, Akiva, walking through a field, noticed a well with a large boulder next to it. But there was something unusual about this rock. You see, when Akiva went to look a little closer at it, he saw that straight in the middle of this very large boulder, there was a hole. And he asked one of the other shepherds standing by the well, "How did this hole come to be here in this boulder?" "Oh, that," the shepherd replied. "Can't you see? The hole was formed by constant dripping of water from the well." And Akiva looked at that hole and he grew hopeful. If water drop by drop could make a hole in a boulder as hard as this one, couldn't words of Torah, letter by letter, make their way into his heart and, more importantly, into his head? And when Akiva returned home, he told Rachel about the rock and about his desire to study, and the next day he entered the classroom. And at first he knew so little, he had to sit with the very youngest children. This embarrassed Akiva. Here he was, a grown man, sitting with 3- and 4-year-olds. "Don't worry," Rachel said. "People may laugh at you today and tomorrow too, but soon they'll become accustomed to seeing you with the children and they'll not laugh." And he found comfort in that. And he worked hard, and because of his devotion and his quick mind, in time he mastered the Aleph Bet and all that the teacher in Jerusalem could teach him. And Rachel was so proud of him. "Now," she said, you must travel to Lidah, where you can study with Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Joshua. "That will mean I'll be gone from you and the family for a long time," said Akiva. And Rachel said, "You know, many spouses go off to study. If I were you, this is what I would choose to do. Just think, when you come back, we will all be so proud of you. What a great teacher you'll become." And with Rachel to encourage him, Akiva set off on his journey to Lidah, and he studied there for many years until he became a teacher himself. And he felt proud that he had fulfilled his promise to Rachel and her dream for him. He thought, "I can return to my family now. I've done what Rachel asked of me." And he journeyed to Jerusalem with many of his students. But when he reached his house, he hesitated because he heard an old man talking to Rachel inside. "How long will you live in this poverty?" the man said. "Don't you grow tired of waiting for your husband? Go back to your father, beg him for forgiveness." But Rachel said, "No, I do not feel as you do. If my husband were to return right this moment, I would tell him to go back to Lidah and study some more." And when Akiva heard his wife's words, he turned around. He went back. He went to the academy to do as Rachel wished. And he became an even greater scholar. In fact, he became one of the wisest rabbis in all the land of Israel. And after more years of study, he journeyed once again to his home and to Rachel. Thousands upon thousands of students journeyed with him so they could continue studying with their teacher. And Akiva's fame spread before him. And when he reached Jerusalem, all the people gathered to pay their respects to the great rabbi of Lydda. And when Rachel saw her husband, she immediately ran to him, running through the crowd, flying as if she had wings. Her heart swelled with pride and love for her poor shepherd who had loved her and kept his promise, and to see him surrounded by so many students. But one of these very students sneered at her. Another made fun of her shabby clothes. "Who is this woman to think she can throw herself at our teacher like this?" they said. And to their surprise, the rabbi's face lit up when he saw this poor woman. And he reached for her to stand by his side and said, "This is my wife. It is to her that you and I all owe the learning of Torah, for she encouraged me when I didn't know the difference between an aleph and a bet." And just then, at that moment, the crowd began to separate. They drew apart to make a path for the rich landowner, Kalba Savua, to pass. He had heard that a great sage had come from Lydda, and he had something important to ask him. Kalba Savua was so unhappy, so desperate with grief, that he didn't recognize his old shepherd with a gray beard, wearing a scholar's robe, nor did he notice his own daughter Rachel standing there. He looked straight at the rabbi and said, "For a long time now, I have regretted a vow I made in anger to my daughter. She promised herself to a poor, ignorant shepherd who knew not even one word of Torah, and for that I told her to leave my house and never come back. But now I am sorry. I ask you, Rabbi, to free me from my vow. Allow me to take my daughter into my home once again." "If you had known that your daughter's husband would someday be a scholar, would you have made such a vow?" "No," said Kalba Savua sincerely. "If Akiva had even known just one law, one section of Torah, I would not have said such a thing, but he didn't even know an aleph from a beit. In that case, you are free of your vow," he said, "for I am that poor shepherd Akiva who married your daughter Rachel. And it is because of her I have become an honored scholar." And Kalba Savua stood speechless in front of the great rabbi, and then he began to cry tears of joy. And Rachel went to him and kissed him, happy to be reunited with her father. "You and your family are welcome in my house," he said. "My wealth is your wealth." And so it was that Rachel, Akiva, and their children went to live in Kalba Savua's house. Once again, Rachel sat in elegant chairs and ate fancy foods, but more important to her than any fine things was her husband and the wisdom he had acquired from studying Torah. We make, over the course of our lives, we often make vows in anger. Never thinking about the long-term consequence of those vows. We often in our lives judge people for who they seem to be, rather than who they can become. Our new year comes around to remind us every year that the vows we made in anger are not vows we should be kept. That the forgiveness we need to offer to others for misjudging us is a forgiveness we need to give. The story of Rachel and Akiva prepares us for that, reminding us that if in the course of the last year perhaps we said something in anger, now is the time to release ourselves of that and to reconnect. And if perhaps in the course of the year we misjudged someone, now is the time to reopen our hearts and our souls to their presence, to make this world a little bit more whole, to take away a little bit more pain, to heal a few more hearts. May we be true to that mission as we enter these holy days. May we find ourselves filled with forgiveness, with compassion, and with hope. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May it be God's will. May it be the work of our hands. Amen. it is my pleasure now to invite Jennifer Wilk to the Bima for a few words on behalf of our congregation.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Jennifer Wilk, and on behalf of the Board of Temple Shalom, it is my pleasure to wish you Brachim Habaim, a warm welcome. As we begin the last week before Rosh Hashanah, please send in your ticket seating and Yitzchak book requests if you have not already done so. Tomorrow evening, please join Rabbi Levy at 7 for a Stilikot program, film and discussion of crime after crime, which will be followed by refreshments and the Stilikot service. Sunday, we have many things occurring. The Women's Connection Book Club will meet at 9:45, as will the Brotherhood Breakfast. On Sunday afternoon at 12:30, we have apple picking at Sun High Orchard in Randolph, sponsored by Family Programming Committee and Brotherhood. In the religious school, the first prayer boot camp of the year and junior choir will meet. And for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders interested in youth group, we have Sundays from 4 to 6. If you have an idea for a new program or event, please let us know. Remember to watch your email for information on programs and also the e-blast, which goes out on Thursdays, as well as our monthly bulletin Kesher. We wish a hearty mazel tov this evening to Jennifer and Stephen Bedell on the bar mitzvah of their son Ryan tomorrow morning. Following services, please join us for an oneg. If you are new to our congregation or visiting for the first time, welcome to our Temple Shalom family. We look forward to greeting you during the oneg. On behalf of Temple Shalom, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you and your families a peaceful Shabbat Shalom.
We continue our worship now on page 586, and we rise as a community for Aleinu as we invite all of our young people who are not yet bar bat mitzvah to join us on the Bima. Come help me with the ark. Come on, Ryan.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד,
Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato,
ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת
Yom V'Hashevota El Levavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, Bashamayim Imal, V'Aaretz Mitachat Enod, V'Nemar V'Haya Adonai L'Melech Al Kol Haaretz, Bayom Ha'u Yeh Adonai Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. And as we turn to our Kaddish list on this Erev Shabbat, we invite those who are here as mourners to rise as they hear the names of their loved ones, should they wish. As we especially remember these who were lost to us during the past week, Henry Schreiber, during the past year, Henry Schreiber, David Horowitz, Max Posniak, Mark Hendler, Raymond Cohen, Kevin Saltz, Mary Spiropoulos, James Kaplan, Betty Gruber, Alex Rudolph, Carol Castillo, Paul Dick, Stephen Rosenberg, Rosa Horowitz, Jerry Buckler, Bernard Archer, Lillian Lebensfeld, Melvin Denholtz, Sophie Gershfeld, Jay Bialy, Rose Levine, Zipporah Ramadi, Edward Katzman, Irene Mimi Lindemann, Irene Dubner, Maxine Schnagel, Robert Nishampkin, Raphael Kuta, Isabel Barnett, and these for whom it is the art site, the anniversary of their passing, Ruth Gales, Joseph Gottlieb, Mary Margulies Levy, Marion Schreiber, Seymour Schweber, Sheila Sukert, Marvin Schwartz, Sam Bort, John Casper, Melvin Chenoy, Robert Fine, Yitzhak Lev L., Reba Weinberg, Janice Ehrlich Williams, Robert Wilson, Abshalom Deutsch, Jerry Gitkin, Sally Goldberg, Lori Ann Burneth, Abraham Safferstein, Jacob Levy, Lorraine Bender, Charles Bloom, and Lee Ratner. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for blessing. May the memories of all of them be with us as we turn to page 598, Rising as a Community for Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, bagalav v'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mivorach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, leinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'imromav, yasei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to all of those who are in mourning, and give us the strength to offer comfort to all the bereaved among us. And to that let us say, amen. We close with a version of Hine Matov. How good it is for all of us to join together.